Firstner, Pledge of Allegiance by Commissioner Grogan. Please stand.
Bow your heads, please. Dear Heavenly Father, bless us this evening as we work together and make decisions for the best of Ocoee and its residents. We thank you for your wisdom and guidance in our thoughtful deliberations. Bless all our city workers, city residents, and especially the men and women in uniform who serve our city and country. We ask this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Commissioner Grogan?
Here.
Commissioner Wilson?
Here.
Mayor Johnson?
Here.
Commissioner Firstner?
Here.
Commissioner Oliver is absent.
All right, presentations, proclamations. We have none tonight. Then we have comments from the citizens under public comments. I have a sheet here from Dr. Kathleen Crown. Come on down.
Good evening. Is the computer on?
Right up there. Yes, ma'am.
Plug in a zip drive.
Do we have any IT in that could help?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes. PowerPoint. So, Good evening, everyone. I'm here tonight because I'd like to discuss
Speak into that mic. Over everybody there.
The little one, the little one.
the little one? Okay.
There you go.
Terrific. Okay, good evening, everyone. I'm here to speak to everyone about the 2 North Blueford property that is owned by the city of Ocoee, basically across the street from here. It's the McGuire House. The McGuire House at 2 North Blueford was built in 1910 by Mr. Massey. I'm not sure which Mr. Massey, and was purchased by Fred McGuire, the first mayor of the city of Ocoee once it incorporated in 1923. He bought the house in the early 1920s. Now, the mayor's parents, David and Maggie McGuire, purchased the Withers house in 1910 when their home burned down. Now, Fred lived across the street with his mom until he moved into the house in 1923. The mayor's father had died in 1913, so he had stayed to help mom. The house was originally a one-story, but was converted to a two-story in the early 1920s before the mayor moved in 1923. The cool little note that has nothing to do with this, but the first phone number for the house was 207 Red. They were 5-line party line systems that they changed to in 1939, so it was like Mayberry when you watch the Andy Griffin show and you say, like, Mabel, get me Charlie. So they went to numbers, which was cool. Now, original house plans. There are no existing records that I could find regarding the original plans for the single-story house. I did find the updated 2-story plans that were created by the architects that showed what the house looked like when they were going to go to a commercial configuration in 2005. Now, these plans, which I'll show you, showed a 5-bedroom, 1-bath structure with 2 fireplaces. The sunrooms were originally, the side decks originally had a front porch and a side porch, and they turned the side porch into more usable space. Now, the original floor plan, kind of hard to see, but you can see that it's basically got the front of the house is the entry hall. There's a wide 5-foot hallway, so it's basically a center hall, revitalized colonial style house. And the bedrooms, the original kitchen, the stairwell that goes upstairs. The original second floor was 2 very large bedrooms, no bathrooms. I don't know how they did it. I don't know how you had a family of that many people with 1 bathroom, but they did it. So it's kind of neat. And then, in 2005, the house was converted to from residential to commercial by Scott LLC, which was a construction company that wanted to create an office building. So the majority of the rooms were kept intact. One fireplace remained, another was covered over. I don't know if it was, partially removed. I don't know if it was in bad shape, but it's covered up. The bathtub disappeared to make way for the handicap bathroom on the first floor. They took away the kitchen, turned that into an office, put a handicap accessible ramp in the back, and numerous other handicapped and commercial upgrades. So they put, in 2005, over $60,000 into this building. So the commercial first floor changed to now have just offices. And you can see it's a different rendering from before because the entry hall is now going horizontally. And you see where it's circled, that's the ADA bathroom. Offices, second floor, more offices. Changes since then. At some point, Scott moved out, and it was allegedly occupied by a photo studio. They took out most of the closets, they took out the break room, and the current state of the McGuire house is a 2-bedroom, half-bath building with 6 offices. What would I like to do? I'd like to propose that I save this historical building because we only have 2 other historical buildings in the city of Ocoee. We've got the Withers McGuire house, and we've got the Ladies Garden Club. That's it on the historic registry. And this house qualifies for that, it just has to be done. I'd like to create a wedding reception venue. I'd like to create a B&B. I'd like to add a speakeasy on the property. I'd like to develop elegant gardens with both water fountains and fire feature. I'd like to create an ice cream window for the kids when we eventually have the splash pad open. But I'm also gonna have a part annex of it'll be this really cool niche of alcoholic ice cream shakes. So this way, after you've taken the kids to the splash pad for 2 hours and you need a little something, you can come have a Bailey's Irish Cream milkshake and have a happier day. Eventually, I'd like to go into the development of possibly another eating luncheonette type deal once City Hall opens up, so you have another option for lunch in the area. I'd like to market to the B&B to cyclists who are enjoying our new expanded West Orange Trail. I'd like to also market it to people who enjoy fishing because we have such a world-renowned bass lake at Stark Lake. And then my target audience for the wedding reception will be wedding receptions of less than 80 people that want an intimate, formal wedding, whether it's either in a tent or hopefully eventually I will have a conservatory on the side of the building, which is be solid glass, or a front porch wedding, if you want to go to the old-fashioned country type deal, or something inside that holds only 15 or 20 people. So many different options. So in additional plans, I want to apply for the historical designation within the state of Florida. I want to apply for the historical designation to the National Registry of Historic Homes. I want to create a family-friendly place during the day so that we have a place to gather in the city of Ocoee, because we really don't have that right now. And then a really cool place to come at night that's elegant, that's not a biker bar, that's not a loud, rowdy sports bar where you can sit down and listen to some nice music or some jazz and just talk to friends and hang out. And then I'd like to have local musicians, local artists be part of the whole plan so that they can come in and they can perform and they can show their artwork and we can hang it on the walls and just do cool stuff. So this is not what my logo is going to be because it hasn't been registered yet with the state of Florida and copyrighted, but this general idea, okay? And I think that the gray crowned cranes are pretty cool. So I will call this place the Royal Crown Inn because I am Dr. Crown and I like to think I'm part royal, even though I'm not. And so the new floor plan will be keeping the first 2 floor bedrooms, adding private bathrooms, adding a kitchen in the original kitchen location. Sunrooms, living room will be part of the speakeasy. Laundry room's gonna have to be added because with a bed and breakfast, you're doing a lot of laundry. It has to be clean. Ice cream window I'm planning right now, pending architectural approval, to see if it's work for my sketches to have the ice cream window on the ramp in the back, because I really don't want little kids on the front porch with adults trying to relax, in the rocking chairs. And then 3 guest rooms upstairs with private bathrooms. So the proposed first floor, it's kind of hard to see, but this was just a rough drawing of putting in the rooms. Laundry room's gonna be in the center of the house, the seating, the club seating, the main lounge. Just a general idea with the front porch. And then upstairs, turning it into 3 rooms. The majority of the walls will all stay because I don't want to get into that architectural nightmare I will add a couple walls just to create the bathrooms and to create another walkway to have privacy on the lower right guest room. Changes outside, upgrade the front porch, decorate the whole place, add a lot of landscaping, either do the wedding reception tent or the conservatory. Fence it in if it's a tent, because we're gonna have to keep that secure, because I don't want anybody stealing all my chairs and tables. Add the fountain, add the fire feature, add the exterior window, repair the screens, roof is rough. So, in conclusion, I want to be part of this economic powerhouse that we're creating here in the city of Ocoee. We have come so far in the 90-plus years that we've been incorporated. And people are beginning to realize this is a really great place to live and to work and to raise a family and to just be part of the community. And we need to preserve our historic buildings because we have 3. That's it. It's not like Winter Garden where they have 300. It's like we have 3. We need more places to congregate. We need more places to have fun. And I believe that this will really benefit with the creation of the Royal Crown Inn, that we'll have more visitors come in. We'll have more reasons for people to come to Ocoee, more reasons to stay here, and then fall in love with the place and want to live here and raise their family and maybe bring their businesses. So I would like to broker into a deal with the city of Ocoee to acquire this place. Ask
All right.
questions.
What I'm gonna do is start some comments here from, I'll start down on the end with Commissioner Grogan.
Well, I think it sounds like a great idea. I'm kind of leaning forward to,
Pull that mic up, John.
yeah, I don't have much of a problem with that at all. I think it's a great use of the property.
Thank you.
I mean, it sounds interesting. I have some concerns because of the, I'm not a construction person, but the few times I've been in that building, it's rough. And I don't know, when we bought it, Rob, what the ultimate plan, I think the ultimate plan was going to be to take it down.
Yeah, it was. I think in the charrettes and the plans that have been shown to the public, it was originally, I think, set for a parking lot and then some out parcels that we could sell for new construction downtown. But you know, the opportunity came where we could purchase it, and we actually had a need during the construction to use it as a construction office, so it made sense at that point. But I think the plan to this point has been to get rid of that building and sell those parcels for continued downtown development.
I'll make comments to that.
Well, and again, those are some concerns I have. I mean, of course, these sounds wonderful. I think you've got a lot planned. But I am concerned about the building itself.
Well, I will add
It's
that.
rough. It's,
Yep.
I've been on it, I mean, it's, I probably was in it the first time 10 years ago, and it was rough then.
I'm gonna let Commissioner Firster talk, then I'll talk. I got some comments on that.
Okay.
Bill.
Where would the funding for this come from? The city? From you? You propose to make all these changes and fund them? Okay. I like the idea. You have 3 or 4 different things working for you there. I don't know if that building's gonna support all of those at the same time. I'd suggest maybe concentrating on 1 or 2 of your ideas, the luncheonette, the B&B, and keep it to that. You might be a little more successful if you concentrate your efforts on just 1 or 2 of the items. Okay?
The Commissioner Oliver's not here tonight. I think you talked to him, didn't you? I don't know what his comments were to you, so. You mentioned this to Commissioner Oliver, right?
Yes.
All right,
Can I say what he said?
yeah, and you can tell us what he said if you want to. I mean, he'll tell us too when he
Yeah.
gets.
He thought it was a great idea and
All
thought
right,
it'd be.
here's what I wanna make comments on. We couldn't sell it right now. What I think we could do is lease it under the understanding you have to do the repairs and you have to do that, and then do like maybe a 5-year lease with the option to buy or something at the end. I don't ever remember voting on tearing it down. I never said that. I know we're talking about, we're building a new city hall across the street. After it was brought to my attention, I had forgot about it, that the first mayor that's the house of the first mayor. We bought that house and paid a pretty good bit of money for it just to tear it down. I mean, we got parking that's gonna be behind City Hall and in City Hall, but I think the main thing it does is it puts an emphasis on the downtown of what we're gonna keep on McKee Street that'll be part of the downtown look, which will be of what it's been there forever. If you go down to the buildings, maybe to change some of the design, some of the style, but it's still gonna be those buildings like where Betty Jake's Florence is at, which used to be the drugstore. But I'm not, I know what Rob's thinking, and part of it being in shape or not, I've been in it 2 or 3 times lately. I mean, it's solid wood that was there from back in the early 1900s. It just has to be updated and put in shape. I will tell you that when we bought, I say we, I wasn't here when they bought it, the McGuire house, I didn't really think that was a great idea either. But we did it. We have put a lot of money into that building that we don't get enough use out of. This would be a use for citizens and for everybody that I think would be a place there that would market to the citizens around town. We have our Christmas parade down there. We have our other functions that'll be around the lake where we change it in City Hall. It's gonna be right across the street. So I think if we could work out a lease plan where you could do the work, you pay the material, you do the fixing it up with the understanding and take care of that, and then pay us a lease amount, and we could work it out where we could maybe do a 5-year lease with option to do or something, that thing. I think that, personally, to me, I think it's part of Ocoee. There's not a lot of things left. Somebody was said on the news this week on Facebook when we tore down the gazebo this week about it being memories. Well, the memories, that thing's only been there 20 years or so, but the memories were when they tore down the high school after 75 years that was there. That's memories to me. So that building's part of the memories that we need to keep. So I think whether it be our house, Miss McGuire's house, but it is a family that was part of the city to help develop the city. And I think it'd be a good thing to keep there, because I don't know if the other McKee Street's gonna really develop into anything modern. So to me personally, I think it would be a great idea, especially if you're gonna outpay the money to do it.
Well, I have a question at that point. Has there been any structure tests? I mean, again, I'm not opposed to this. I wanna see business come in. I just don't wanna see, if the building is not structurally sound, that's a concern to me.
Well, basically what I would do is I would get a structural engineer in there to check everything out before I put any money in it whatsoever. So this way, if it turns out to be a non-feasible project, then it can't be done. But just from walking around, from me jumping up and down a bunch of times,
I know you said you did that. I've been on the porch. I don't know if I want to be jumping up and down.
Construction guys
Yeah.
do.
Oh, yeah.
Have you? Okay, I mean, I know it's,
Yeah. The porch is a little spongy, that would need to be addressed. But before I went into education, I owned an antique restoration company. So I did that for many years. So I have a clue about construction and
Well,
about
I think-
restoration work.
I would think what we have to do is, if consensus is what's here, if we wanna do it or let you do it, we have to come up with a working lease. And we'll have to work on it with, what's your name?
do you have an idea what, I mean, what
City attorney.
it's
that's it.
gonna cost to, I mean,
But, huh?
I assume you're gonna have to come up with costs as to what, I mean,
No, that's what I
this
said.
might be, yeah, you're gonna be paying the cost of of all the repairs and,
The main thing is going ahead and getting the structural thing checked.
Yeah.
yeah,
To see that.
that's,
Yeah, because if it's gonna fall
that's
down,
the most concerning to me.
if the next hurricane's gonna blow it over, it's not worth it. So,
So I
Pretty
think maybe if we could have permission to do that, get the structural.
Mayor, just one other thing. I think if I remember correctly, I think we used utility dollars
Yeah.
to purchase
Deputy.
that. So if it's a desire to lease it out, I think the right thing to do would probably have the general fund reimburse the utility fund
Yeah,
at some point. So that's probably a budget issue you should talk about tomorrow night.
yeah.
I think it was
we can-
$350,000 or,
No, we didn't pay that much. If we did, we paid
Do
too
we-
much.
I thought it was,
Well, it was
but that's
somewhere-
just something to
But
keep in mind
here-
because
here's the deal.
I'm
I
fairly
think
sure we used
There's
utility
ways to find
dollars.
ways to do it. We've done other stuff. I think that's the thing that we have to look at ways we can look at making it work. I will tell you that, I met Ms. Crown was our chairman of our Human Diversity Board, and I found out she's a worker. She gets into stuff and she has a good helpers here. I think she's, if she wants to make this home where she can be and have a business in this town. And I think it's a great idea that we work towards helping make that happen. We're talking about making other things happen in other areas of the town, but we're gonna do things and help put money in to do it. So I think that's the way to, let's look at how we can do it, not how we can't do it.
What is the lease period right now? What is the time that the construction company's in there? What arrangements did we make with them? Rob, do you know the,
Well, I'd make comments on that too, but believe it or not.
well,
No, I
just
don't.
want,
I mean, we basically gave them a $0 lease, and when the project was done.
When the project's done, we can work on the date.
okay, I'm just,
Yeah,
some
Well,
concerns there, okay.
We're
Okay.
saying that road's gonna be finished in October.
October?
October.
Oh, you said not.
No, I think that's sometimes, October. So I think what we need to do is maybe sit down with staff and you also and come up with some, maybe how to do the structural part and things like that, and then how we can go from there. So at least you brought it forward. I'm sorry, I thought Commissioner Oliver would be here tonight, so to address that too, because he had made comments that he wanted to do it too. So if we got consensus to do that part, then we can get it started.
I think we gotta move forward somehow, so
Do we
yeah,
need
we
to
get the
vote on
report.
it, or-
You go ahead and get your reports.
Tell me what you want the
We'll work on a
consensus
lease
for, because
option.
I'm not sure
Well, I
who's
think
doing the
Consensus to
structural.
start with the process of getting it checked for structural sound, and then.
Is that something you wanted the city to do, or they were going to do that?
No, she said
These are,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what the consensus is for. If they need the right to enter or whatever, we can
Yeah.
take care of that.
Yeah.
And through a consensus, I think that's fine.
But I think you can see the consensus is,
Yeah.
I think to do it, but we've got to work out the things.
Awesome.
Okay, I just didn't know if you were spending any money tonight. That's, I just wanted to make sure.
You
No,
can, but you don't have to.
Some more, that's right.
She might have to. Is that okay with you? You're agreeable to doing that? Then nobody else said that, but I personally think that you'd have to lease it first
Right,
and do that work, and then let's see what happens.
and that might even
Maybe
be
5
better for
years.
yourself.
You might
Yeah.
decide you don't
Then
want to do
as I
it.
grow and I can make more money,
Sure.
then I
Well,
expand.
after the structure
Yeah.
report comes back, then you'll know what direction you want to take.
Right.
So,
Definitely.
Yeah.
all right?
All right, thank you
And I
very much.
think if we can contact me or contact staff here at the city, and we'll work on that and see what we can come up. But you need to see if you can find somebody would check the building out and see if it'll fit with the,
I've already got somebody in mind.
all right.
Awesome.
Is that good then?
That's good.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And thanks for your able assistance we have here. I will say that I think it would be an asset to the city. I know we have some plans for that, but I think with what the downtown is and what's gonna be on the other streets, that would still tie into what our downtown is. All right. Anybody else in the audience have any comments to do with anything that's not on the agenda? Not so we'll go to staff reports.
The only thing I have, Mayor, the city clerk's put a copy of the agreement between the city and the two charter schools for a school resource officer in front of you. It was forthcoming in the agenda. So that's for number 8.
That's under the consent.
Is this what
on
I've
the
already
consent.
read on the agenda?
It's on the agenda already,
Okay.
yes, but
Okay,
I believe it said it was forthcoming, the actual agreement. So that, the agreement basically has those two charter schools paying for the school resource officer for 10 out of 12 months of the year.
Okay.
All right. That it?
That's it, thank you.
All right, commissioners' announcements. Commissioner Firstman,
No, none at this time.
Commissioner Wilson,
Nothing at this time, thank you.
Commissioner Grogan.
Not at this time.
Okay, announcements. The Parks and Recreation Advisory Board currently has 4 vacancies. If you are interested in applying to be on this board, please visit the city's webpage for more information. City Hall is closed on Monday, September the 3rd in observance of Labor Day, and the City Commission meeting scheduled for Tuesday, September the 4th has been canceled. Information on budget workshops and budget hearings can be found on the city's website and on Ocoee TV. As a reminder, the city's first budget workshop is being held tomorrow night, August the 8th, starting at 6 p.m. here at City Hall. The second budget workshop is scheduled for Monday, August the 13th. The tentative budget public hearing is Wednesday, September the 12th, and the final budget public hearing is scheduled for Wednesday, September the 26th. All meetings will begin at 6 p.m. here in City Hall. All right, consent agenda.
Motion to approve.
And second.
Motion made by Commissioner Grogan, seconded by Commissioner Forstner for the consent agenda to be approved. Any more comments? If not, let's vote. All right. Sorry about my iPad's broke tonight. All right, I think we're down to number 16. Whew. Number 16, public hearing. The Area Independent Living Preliminary Final Large-Scale Site Plan, project number 2007, City Planner Room.
Yes, and I'll butcher the name. It's either Aria or Araya, and I always forget.
Aria.
And you didn't help me there, but yeah, Mike Rimmer, City Planner. The item before you is a preliminary and final site plan for a independent living facility, and that would be for a property on Robertson Road, east of Tom and Windermere Road. The subject property outline is next to what we remember originally as All Sports, then changed over to Legacy Lifestyles, an ALF and memory care facility. The Legacy Lifestyles is close to breaking ground. They are finalizing utility plan to run utilities around and up Windermere Road, Common Boulevard. The roadway work for the roundabout is underway with Winter Garden, and they will be assisting us in running utilities. So we could have two projects under construction at the same time. The zoning for the property is low-density residential, and what is being proposed is, you can kind of see faded, this is the Legacy Lifestyles, ALF, and Memory Care. Well, as partner to the project is a 55 or older independent living facility. It's proposed at 3 stories, 200 square feet, 145 rooms. This will kind of provide a development where you can age in place. There's 1 and 2 bedroom units. You could have a spouse that's residing in the memory care ALF, and you can live next door, and you're free to come and go as you please. The facility uses a joint access with the Legacy Lifestyles. The project is buffered from Robertson Road via wetland in this corner. If I go back up to the aerial, you'll see this is the wetland. This is a wetland system. This wetland and creek system is a part of the subdivision on the east. It provides a nice buffer. You'll see in your packet they are requesting a waiver to the maximum height of 45 feet with this 4 stories. The project will provide a left turn lane in, will either be constructed by Legacy Lifestyles or this development, whichever comes first. I want to show you the elevation of the building, and we do have the professionals here that run the facility that can describe it more. This is the facility, and it sort of looks like a garden apartment, and we had a lot of discussions on this type of structure. It's similar to what the Legacy's Lifestyle is building next door, but in this building, you do not have, you have a lot of common space in the first floor. You have the mail room, the place where you can get your hair done. So it looks like a normal garden variety apartment, but it is a 1 and 2 bedroom independent living facility. The project is utilizing a joint stormwater pond with the Legacy Lifestyles. They're utilizing a joint driveway access. A development of this type does not have to comply with school concurrency because it's age restricted to 55 or older. And it also accompanies the ALF memory care. It's a very low traffic generator. You don't have the 9 trips associated with it as you do with a single family, 9 daily trips as you do with a single family residence. There will be an outdoor amenity pool and walking area to the rear, which would be buffered by the wetlands. This is the preliminary and final site plan. So the next process after this approval, and they receive all of their state permits with St. John's and DEP, will be breaking ground and beginning construction. The project was received favorably by the Development Review Committee and the Planning and Zoning Committee. If you have any questions, the engineer is here, and so are the operators of this facility. Thanks.
All right, before I open up the public hearing, does anybody on the commission have any comments?
No, I just think it's kind of unique setting that they have, people could live there while their spouse or whoever is in the other facility. I think that's pretty good. I like that. Very unique.
Okay. Nothing at this time.
All right, does anybody from the developer want to speak to this? If you want to, come on up, give us your name and address.
Good evening. My name is David Stokes, Madden Warren Stokes, 431 East Horatio Avenue, Maitland, Florida. I'm the civil engineer. We're just here in case y'all have questions for us. I don't have a presentation for y'all tonight.
All right, you can hang up there. I'm going to open it to the public and see if anybody in the public has any comments. All right, I'm going to open it now in the public hearing for anybody in the public has any comments or anything to say on this item 6T, the Independent Living Center. No comments? I'll close it and come back to the dais. Anybody?
I just have a
Commissioner
question.
Wilson?
I have a question for Mr. Firstner. It's in your district. Have you had any comments from citizens
I've had
regarding
no
any of this?
comments, no feedback from anyone in my district or otherwise.
Okay, that's,
And it's advertised along the road, you know, what's coming, and everybody is aware of it, and there's been no feedback. So I think everybody's all right with it.
and that's interesting, because I think on the last one, when the other one on Tomlin Road went up, we had a fair amount of feedback from folks. And so
They
this
were
is-
afraid that it was going to encroach on their privacy and that there wasn't enough buffer, but this property is located far enough away from Westmere where they're not going to see it, hear it, or I don't think it's going to interfere with them at all.
Okay. Thank you.
Anybody else? No wild parties there on the weekends.
Okay, bye-bye.
All right. Need a motion, you gotta read it. All right, we're gonna have a motion. I need a motion to approve.
Motion,
I'll make that a motion to approve.
second.
Motion made by Commissioner Firster, seconded by Commissioner Grogan. No more comments, let's vote. Carries unanimously with Commissioner Oliver absent. Thank you very much. First reading of ordinance, amending chapter 124-6 of the City Code of Ordinances, renaming Russell Drive Park to Frank W. Turner Park. Second reading of this will be on the August the 21st. You need to read?
Yeah.
All right.
This is an ordinance of the City of Ocoee, Florida, amending Chapter 124-6 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Ocoee, renaming Russell Drive Park to Frank W. Turner Park in honor of former City Commissioner Frank W. Turner, providing for severability, providing for codification, providing for an effective date.
This is the first reading, so, excuse me. We back on August the 21st for the second reading where we can, if you have any comments to this, then we'll make them there. All right, so move on to first reading of ordinance for Top Gun Cheer, 651 South Bluford Avenue, the rezoning project. City manager, city planner, Rube?
This is, again, first reading. Let me just go ahead and read
All right.
the title to the ordinance. This is an ordinance of the City of Ocoee, Florida, changing the zoning classification from Ocoee I-2 General Industrial to Ocoee I-1 Restricted Manufacturing and Warehousing on certain real property containing approximately 4.51 acres located on the west side of South Bluford Avenue, on the south side of West Columbus Street pursuant to the application submitted by the property owner. finding such zoning to be consistent with the Ocoee Comprehensive Plan, the Ocoee City Code, and the Joint Planning Area Agreement, providing for and authorizing the revision of the official city zoning map, repealing inconsistent ordinances, providing for severability, providing for an effective date.
All right, same thing. The first reading of this is tonight. Second reading will be August the 21st. So if any comments, hold them to then, and we'll have them on the next meeting, August the 21st. All right. Second reading of ordinances. We have second reading of ordinance, public hearing to establish the Florida Real Estate Regional Center Community Development District, CDD. City Attorney Cookson.
I'll go ahead and read the title to this ordinance. This is an ordinance of the City of Ocoee, Florida, establishing the FRERC Community Development District pursuant to Chapter 190 Florida statutes, providing for the establishment and naming of the district, providing for the legal description of the external boundaries of the district, providing for the description of the functions and powers of the district, providing for the designation of the initial members of the district's Board of Supervisors, providing for notice requirements and for compliance with all remaining sections of Chapter 190 Florida statutes and all other applicable laws and ordinances, providing for severability, providing for an effective date. The applicant is here tonight to answer any questions or give a presentation as the City Commission desires. This is the city adopting an ordinance to establish a community development district for the property we more commonly know as City Center, maybe City Center West Orange. The CDD is essentially a financing mechanism for the developer to finance the construction of infrastructure for the development. The city would not be obligated to any financial obligations under the CDD. This is the responsibility of the owners of the property. The developer has obtained the consent of all of the property owners to establish the CDD over the property. And we'll invite Jonathan Johnson up to make any presentation or answer any questions for the City Commission.
Good evening. My name is Jonathan Johnson with the law firm of Hopping Green and Sams, 119 South Monroe Street, Suite 300, Tallahassee, Florida, here on behalf of the petitioner. We appreciate the opportunity to be here on second reading. I know you had a public hearing in July on your first reading due to the requirements of Chapter 190, and we're here for your second reading. As Mr. Cookson has explained, we previously in mid-May filed the petition seeking the establishment of the Community Development District. We have consent from 100% of the property owners. The petition, together with the additional supporting materials which we've submitted, including a primer by way of a PowerPoint, we believe help show that we satisfy the criteria in Chapter 190 for the creation of a CDD. And as we discussed in those materials, we believe that establishment of a CDD is really a win-win for both parties, meaning for us as the landowner and developer and for the city. I think the benefits to the developer, Mr. Cookson's talked a little bit about. It does provide, through the establishment of this district, us access to a stable long-term source of low-cost capital. It also provides us with a perpetual long-term maintenance entity that is generally favored by the Water Management District and the Corps of Engineers over a homeowners association or a commercial property owners association. It does then also provide a much steadier revenue stream because our assessments are collected on the county tax roll. It's a much more secure mechanism than a typical homeowners association or commercial property owners association that requires voluntary compliance. We believe it's a benefit to the city, and we went into this in some detail in the materials we submitted, but it does provide greater transparency because all of the machinations of this real estate project will now take place in the sunshine, subject to the public record. Your city manager, pursuant to the ordinance, will be a participating member of the CDD board. So you, as commissioners, as the governing body of the city and the citizens of the city, will have access to a great deal more information about how we're moving forward with the financing, the construction, and the implementation and maintenance of these infrastructure improvements than you would in a private bank loan context, which is really the alternative that we would have been considering. I am here. I'm happy to answer any questions. I also have representatives from the landowner and from our management company. Happy to answer any questions you may have. We fully support the staff's recommendation and hope for your support tonight. Thank you.
All right. Does anybody, commissioners have any comments? All right, I'm gonna open to the public. Anybody in the public have any comments pertaining to the, second reading of ordinance, public hearing to establish the Florida Real Estate Regional Center Community Development District? A lot of talkative people tonight. Nope, so we're gonna bring it back to the dais. All right. I need a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion made by Commissioner Wilson. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner First. No more comments? Let's vote. Carries unanimous with Commissioner Oliver absent. Congratulations.
Thank you all.
Good luck, sir. Commissioner Grogan,
Yes, sir.
comments?
Yes. Rob, you might be able to help with this one. September 29th to October 8th is the Mental Illness Awareness Week. And the city of Orlando is gonna be lit up green. Do we have the capabilities of turning our fountains green? Do we have green lights that we
Yeah.
can put in there?
Yep.
Is that something that, we would like to do?
Say it again, I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
It's Mental Illness Awareness Week, September 29th to October 8th. And what the city of Orlando does is they light up everything green for the week. What, the fountains, probably some
Oh, light
buildings.
green, red lights are green.
Yeah, green.
No,
Nice
red
green.
lights are not green.
And
Yeah, I was gonna say, it was,
we've got a couple of fountains that we can turn
Yeah.
green, one out here and then the
Is
one
that all
out.
right to do, Rob?
Yeah, and I know the lake's really high at Lake Bennett, so I think by that time, it should probably, I think this one's okay out here. We might have
Okay.
some issues with that, but
That'd be
we just changed the
So
bulbs,
that's
basically.
what you wanna do is just light it up?
Yeah, you just
Okay.
change the bulbs out to green,
All right.
green lights.
Anything else?
Don't forget this weekend, they have the golf tournament for the Wounded Officers Initiative. It'll be a fun time. I believe they still got some openings, I hope.
He was here a while ago, so
Yeah,
I looked at it.
Scott's
I
outside.
don't know why happened to him. He was here. But I don't have the paperwork on it anyway.
Right.
He's not in here, but we'll find out. Anything else?
No, that's it.
Commissioner Wilson?
there's the fountain down at Lake Bennett. Is that going a little wonky? Has anyone looked at that? Kind of going,
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the
it
question.
just doesn't look like it's shooting in the,
Well, it's because it's actually submerged. The water level's so high and the fountain's tied down, so there's a couple of
It
feet
kinda
of water.
looks
It should
like
be
it's-
floating higher, basically. but
when you
it's-
mentioned the color change, I thought the thing just
Yeah.
kind of looks like it's going a little
Yeah, it's just,
wonky.
it's due to how high the water levels are right now. That's what.
Well, we complain when they're too high, we complain when they're too low. Okay, just want to mention that, I don't know if anyone has been by the Montgomery Avenue Park, but you know, it's nice to see
Yes.
that more people are using it.
Get that gazebo way in the back.
Yeah, it's, again, I'm looking forward to more action there, but, it's nice to see people on the field. So, please, as our residents, more will come later, but again, it's nice seeing it being used right now. That's it, and I did go look at an all-inclusive park the other day, and it was very impressive, so I'm hoping, I'm gonna talk to Mr. Johnson on that one, and, hope we can proceed with recreation. The other Mr. Johnson.
Did you need him out here?
No, I'm gonna meet with him, but,
Oh,
yeah, the other
okay.
Mr. Johnson, we'll
All
go
right.
ahead and talk to him, but,
All right. That it?
yeah, that's it, thank you.
Commissioner First.
Just want to remind everybody that school's getting back in session. There's going to be a lot more traffic on the streets and the kids walking to and from school. So be vigilant, be careful, and slow down and watch what's going on around you. Thank you.
I was going to talk about that for a couple of minutes. I went down today and met with the Deputy Chief McCosker and a couple of the officers about the back to school. They've come up with a plan. It's going to be on Facebook. It's going to be on the city website. We'll have handouts at the school tomorrow night and Thursday night for the parents and the students. We'll have some here at City Hall. But they're made some changes to the way you go to school and where you park. We have the parking laid out. They got child traffic, foot traffic. They got road closure areas, and the school entrances. So it's a good layout. So what we've got to do is have the parents adhere to this, and hopefully they will. And I know with the road closed, it's a problem, but the road at the corner of McKee and Bluford's supposed to be open this weekend, is what I was told. So now, I know on Facebook, they say the mayor's the reason why the road's closed, but it's not just me. We voted all of us.
What did you do?
Yeah, I don't know, but they say it's my doings, but it's to do what we're doing in the city, that's what we have to do. So,
Commissioner Grogan's okay that it's your problem.
I know he sent the message, it was me. But, so, we met with the school people today, and, not school people, with the police, and I think this will work. The major problem is safety for our children. So we want to be where our children will be safe going to school. So we all work together, and I think that's what this plan will help work out. So if you need anything, call City Hall, call the mayor. You can look me up on the city thing. You can call me a lot of things anyway, but that's all right. So, but we want to make sure that everybody, child has a safe school year, and we start back next Monday, August the 13th. So please come by City Hall, go to the website, go on Facebook, and read these instructions and see if we can all get together and come up with a safe way for our children. Anybody else have any more comments?
Yeah, Mayor, one more thing. You mentioned about the rest of Blueford to be open. We're looking at October, September for Blueford to be open. Just keep our fingers crossed. We don't find anything else under the ground that's not supposed to be there.
I don't know, Steve's here tonight. Steve's not here.
Is that, from what I understand, is that where we're looking at?
Is Al?
If Al's here, he can probably
Al's
give us
still
a
here?
better.
Our, Al, there, well, that's not Al, but that's our assistant city manager and Al.
Al's here also.
Trying to get an idea of Bluford opening up, when would that
We're
happen?
starting to get a lot of questions on Blueford.
We have a weekly project management meeting, which Al also attends, with all the project managers for all the downtown projects. And right now, Bluford Avenue is on track for first or second week of October. Okay? That's subject to change. You know, there are, as works with all large projects like this, sometimes there are things that are unforeseen that come up, but to this point, we're well on track to be like first, second week of October.
All right, well, like I said, I think also our police will be at the, all the areas of, around school to get help the traffic flow, so we'll have help there also. So once again, I want to thank the police department, Public Works, and all the rest of them that worked on this plan to get this solved for us. And see everybody on August the 21st.
No, tomorrow.
Whoop, nope.
Tell them
Well,
tomorrow.
I
Please
mean-
tell them tomorrow.
Oh, tomorrow night, budget, 6 o'clock, here,
Here, here.
meeting adjourned.